Hello viewers, welcome to EduTube. In this lesson, we are going to learn order of operation, BODMAS. Order of operation is the order or the arrangement at which a mathematical problem or operation is carried out. And the technique we are going to be using for this lesson to work our order of operation problem is BODMAS. BODMAS in full, the B stands for bracket, while the O in some context stands for order, which includes powers and root, while in some other context it stands for of, especially in fraction context. Then D stands for division, while M stands for multiplication, A addition, and S subtraction. Now in the US you could see other variants like PEDMAS. Okay, but for this lesson, as I said, we are focusing on BODMAS. Now, our first problem is to simplify 25 out of 27 divided by 3 out of 7, open bracket 3 out of 7 plus 4 out of 9, close bracket, times 3 whole number 1 out of 7. Now, to solve this problem following the order of operation, we will see that in our order of operation, B comes first, which stands for bracket. So that means we are going to work out what is inside the bracket first of all. Now, working out what is inside the bracket, because this is an unlike fraction, we are meant to add this unlike fraction. So I will find the LCM of 7 and 9, and LCM of 7 and 9 is 63. So LCM of 7 and 9 is 63, and then after finding the LCM of 7 and 9, we will now use each denominator to divide our LCM and then use our answer to multiply the numerator. So basically 7 and 63 is 9, so I will say 3 times 9, and then 9 in 63 is 7, so I will say 4 times 7. Now working this out, 3 times 9 is 27, so I'll write it here, plus, and 4 times 7, that is 28. I'll also write that here. So I have a new set of numerators and a common denominator for them. So this numerator can now be added together because they now have a common denominator. So 27 plus 28, that will give me 55. So I'm going to write 55 out of 63. So basically, I have successfully simplified what is inside the brackets to 55 whole number, 55 out of 63. Now, what will happen to these numbers by the side? I'm just going to bring them down. So I'll draw an arrow to show that I'm bringing them down. Now so let me bring down this 25 out of 27. So I have 25 out of 27. And then in between, I have a division sign, which I'm going to place there in between. Then at the end here, I have 3 whole number 1 out of 7, and in between I have times. So, but before I bring down this 3 whole number 1 out of 7, I'm going to convert it into an improper fraction. So converting this to improper fraction, that will give me 22 out of 7, because converting this 3 times 7, 21, 21 plus 1, that's 22 out of 7. So now, what's the next thing to do is also to go back to my BODMAS rule and see which operation to carry out between division and multiplication. So according to the BODMAS rule, division comes before multiplication. So what will I do? So I'm going to bracket out this division to show that I'm solving it first. Now to solve this division, I'm going to rewrite my fractions, and that will be 25 out of 27. Then this division sign is going to invert into times. So the division sign will change to times, and then the inversion of the division sign into times, we effectuate an inversion in the number next to it or carrying the sign, which is 55 out of 63. So basically what I mean is that the change of the division to times will affect the number next to it. So the number next to it is also going to invert. So that means instead of having 55 out of 63, I'm going to have 63 out of 55, and then I can now solve them. So remember, I put them in bracket to show that I'm solving them, but because this has turned to times, so I can basically bring down these times as well because they are now equal. So I bring down these times, I'm going to have 22 out of 7. So I can basically solve the 3 fractions together, simplify the 3 fractions together. So I will look across in vertical, and I will also look across in diagonal for what can divide in the numerators and the denominators. So looking at 55 and 25, I know that 5 can divide them. So I will say 5 in 25, that gives me 5. And then 5 in 55, that gives me 11. And I know also that 11 can go in 22. So I will say 11 in 11, that gives me 1. And 11 in 22, that gives me 2. Then looking at 63 and 27, I know that 9 can divide them. So I will say 9 in 27, that gives me 3. And then 9 in 63, that will give me 7. And then if I look again, I will see that in the numerator here, I have 7 now. And in the denominator here, I have 7. So that means 7 can still cancel out 7. So 7 here, 1. And 7 in this 7, I have what? 1. So now looking critically, I will see that in the numerators now, I have 5, 1, and 2. And in the denominator, I have 3, 1, and 1. So basically, nothing else can simplify further. So I'm going to multiply out what I have left. So I have 5 times 1 times 2. And that gives me what? 10 out of. Then 3 times 1 times 1. 10 out of 3. So 10 out of 3 is an improper fraction. So I am not expected to leave them like this. So it is an obligation on me to convert this improper fraction to a mixed number. So to convert this to a mixed number, I'll basically say how many 3 goes in 10. I'll basically divide 10 by 3, and that will give me 3 whole number. There will be a remainder of 1 out of the 3, because 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 1 is 10 out of 3. So which is our final answer for that. So now example number 2, we have 3 whole number 1 out of 5 times 2 whole number 3 out of 4 divided by open and close bracket of this number. So according to BODMAS, what will I do first? I will do what is inside this bracket first. So to do what is inside this bracket first, I'm going to rewrite the fraction. So I have 2 out of 3, and then this off. Remember, is the second place in BODMAS. So this off we change to times. And then I have this one whole number 3 out of 8 will be converted to a mixed, an improper fraction. So I will have 11 out of 8, because 1 times 8 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So now I can work on them. So I can see, looking diagonal or across vertically or diagonally, I will see that 2 can divide 8. So 2 here 1, and then 2 in 8, that will give me what? 4. So looking at them, no number else can divide. So I will multiply what I have left. So I have 1 in the numerator and 11 here in the numerator. So 11 times 1, I will have 11 out of. Then 3 times 4, I will have 11 out of 12. So what will happen to this set of other fractions? I'm going to bring them down. So I'm pointing an arrow down, and then I'm also pointing an arrow down. But before I bring this down, I will convert it to what? To an improper fraction. Good that you know. So 2 times 4, 8. 8 plus 3, that still gives me 11. So I'm going to have 11 out of 4. Then the division sign in between them, I'm going to bring it down. Now, there is times in between this. I'm also going to bring it down. Then I'll also convert this improper fraction to, the mixed number to improper fraction. So 3 times 5, 15. 15 plus 1, that's 16 out of 5. Now, according to BODMAS, division is supposed to be solved before times. So I'm going to put them in bracket and rewrite the expression. So I'm going to have 11 out of 4. Then the division we invert to times as we did in example 1. So the inversion of the division sign to times, we effectuate an inversion in the number next to it, or the number carrying the sign. Basically, what I mean is that division will change to times, and that will affect this number to also invert. So instead of having 11 over 12, I'm going to have 12 over 11. Then I can bring this down since I now have times. So times and times, they are basically equal. So I'll basically write times and write 16 out of 5. Now I can work on the 3 fractions together. So looking diagonally or vertically across, I will see that 4 and 12 can divide each other, and 4 and 16 can divide each other. It's an open-ended working. It depends on you. So I'm starting with 4 and 12. So 4 here 1, 4 in 12, that gives me 3. Then 11 and 11, 11 and 11, 1, and 11 and 11, 1. And then I will also look, 5 and 3 cannot divide each other. So no number else can divide 16, and 5 cannot divide 16. There's going to be a remainder. So I will multiply what I have left. So what do I have left in the numerators? I have 16 times 1 times 3. So 16 times 3, that gives me 48 out of, then 5 times 1 times 1, that gives me 5. So now, this is an improper fraction, so I am not expected to leave it like that. So it is obligatory on me to convert this improper fraction to a mixed number. So 5 in 48, I'm going to have 9 whole number, remainder 3 out of 5. And that is the final answer. So that is that about order of operation BODMAS. If you are new to this channel, please kindly click on the subscription button below this video to get notified of more academic lessons like this. And if you are a returning subscriber, we say a big thank you for your love and support always. I will see you in the next lesson.